Style Club Radio with Josh DeMarco, Steve Sanchez, Michelle Miller, and friends from around the fashion globe. Presented by True Beauty Concepts, one of Philadelphia's most iconic providers of everything style.
All right, everybody. I just wanted to give my special reminder that we are on social media. You can find us on Instagram, on Facebook, at Style Club Radio.
Awesome. Thanks, Michelle. That
You're
was
welcome,
so special. And I'm reminded.
You know, I'm here for a reason.
Woot, woot.
So as I said earlier, we have Marcus Allen in the house. The Marcus Allen.
The other Marcus Allen.
The other.
And Marcus is someone I know and someone that I think is doing amazing things in the city of Philadelphia. He's the CEO of Big Brothers Big Sisters, which is giving children amazing opportunities that they would not normally have, right?
Right.
And Marcus is a great guy. I've got to spend personal time with Marcus. Marcus came to my wedding.
Yes.
In Jamaica.
In Jamaica, man. But Marcus, it's funny. Like, I've known you. You've worked with my wife, Michelle, and yet I don't, know you. And so the more I thought, I'm like, where did Marcus come from? We love we love a story, right? Like, what brought you to be to this point in your life? You played basketball. You've done a lot. How did you get the importance of what you do? And tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, Josh, first of all, thank you, Michelle, for having me on the show. This is I'm so proud of you guys. I think this is an awesome idea, what you're doing here in the city of Philadelphia and the region. It's interesting. People ask me that all the time, and, I don't think it's anything really special. I think, when you go through, your life, you look back on it, and you just appreciate the learnings from that. And so I had the opportunity to grow up in a community that was a great community, but we grew up, low income, and being an African American, growing up in a low income environment, we know in this country is a tough path to try to navigate. And so for me, I met a mentor at the age of 10 or 11, who, for whatever reason, saw something in me and decided to take me under his wing. And so from that, I think he showed me, this way of working hard and not giving up, and that continued. And he stuck with me through that entire process. I'm 47 years old, so he's been in my life for 36 years, and sticking with me through that process. And then me beginning to see some of the small successes each and every year, and each season would pass by, and high school would pass by, and college passed by, and then next thing you know, I'm in the pros. And I started to look back on that, and I was just like, oh my God, like, in addition to having a strong mother and that whole village around me, my mentor was someone who actually went to college. He was a police officer and was able to escape a lot of the trappings of the hood. And so when he told me about college and the success he was having, I wanted the same thing. And so nobody really ever before him kind of sat me down and said, listen, if you do these simple things and be consistent, then this can happen for you as well. And the only thing I wanted to do was, at that time, I wanted to make sure that I didn't end up working in a factory like my mom was doing, right? And I was just like, I want to pull my hair out if I knew I had to go into a job every day. And at the time, my mom was making $3.50 an hour, and say, I'm going to do that, work my fingers to the bone just so that I can barely make ends meet, right, and start that whole process over again on Monday. And I was like, I can't do that, right? It just wasn't in me. But I also didn't have a map drawn for me to help me see how to get out of it. And my mentor kind of helped me do that.
So mentorship is clearly very, very important to you. And it's funny you say that, Marcus, because I've done hair a long time, and people always say, well, who taught you? Who did this? Right. I was fortunate enough to work in a salon that somebody came in that's a really big name in the hair industry, a man named Stephen Moody, that for whatever reason took me under his wing. And after talking to him for multiple years, he said, you remind me of me when I was your age. Mm-hmm. So that little bit of mentorship, and we're going to talk about this in a bit about what your organization does, but him just, I can't explain it because I'm sure you had the same feeling, but like he did something for me that sparked this whole, like, I want to grow. I want to be better. I want to be a better person. I want to be a better husband. I want to be a better business guy, whatever it is. And it's like the power of mentorship is huge. I mean, you really can't even put a price on it.
No, you can't. And Josh, you probably don't know how long you been doing hair.
A decade.
Yeah, a decade.
So I got you beat. I've been cutting hair,
Uh-oh.
Since I was 12 years old.
We actually are hiring.
Right. Listen, I'm coming to you for a job, right? Because I don't know how long Big Brothers Big Sisters is going to have me as your CEO. But yeah, I started cutting hair when I was 12 years old, and I remember I was cutting hair for $2 a head, and I cut all the guys on the basketball team, and this was back in the late 80s, early 90s, and I was cutting designs in their hair, like the building, the skyline, and then the sun coming up in the background. Yeah. But no, you're right. Like our mentors, and actually one of my mentors actually got me into doing that. He said that's a great way to make money because people's hair is always going to grow.
Always.
So they always going to need a haircut.
Yep.
And plus, you don't have to work. And I cut my own hair. I've been cutting my own hair since I was like 16.
Still?
Right. Still cut my own hair, right?
Yeah.
And like imagine how much, not to take anything away from your industry,
You're
but
skilled.
imagine how much money I've saved.
Let me ask you something. Did anyone ever tell you were too expensive?
Oh, actually, yes. Like, some people just like, can I get a cut for free because I paid you $2 last week? That's how bad my service was. But no, I to the point, Josh. I think what happens when we look up to people who are somewhere where we're trying to get to, having them, what I call plant a seed in our heart and our minds, and it does something that never goes away, right? One of my other mentors, and I need you to hear the rest of it, because when I say the name, you're like, oh my God, that's a bad name right now. But years ago, he was the epitome of what it meant to be a successful black man. It was Bill Cosby,
I knew you were
right?
gonna say it, yep.
And so I would watch the Cosby Show, right? And I'm from Georgia, raised in a small town, 6,000 people, and probably about 30% of those people were black, and going through school and never really hearing about any real black heroes in my history books, being able to sit in front of the television and see a man who was a doctor, a woman who was a lawyer, and seeing the lifestyle that they had gave me a vision of that's what I'm trying to achieve, right? And I think it was so important that there were those images, particularly, and I have to speak for, people of color and disadvantaged people, when you see someone doing something that you couldn't even ever imagine, like what it does for you in terms of an inspiration that stays with you forever. And there are things that my mentor and things that I saw on the Cosby Show that stuck with me for all of my life. And I'm 47 years old now, and I still think about like where I would have been had it not been for my mentor and having those positive images around me.
Right. So it's beyond important. I mean, it really is. Yeah.
I mean, I am a big sister in the Big Brothers Big Sisters program, and for me, like spending my time volunteering to an organization that means everything to me, and like having this young woman in my life that I love to bits and pieces, and we do all of these amazing things together, is like such a reminder for me of like what that is, like to have someone that's not your blood or your family, but to take interest in you and decide that they're going to share information for your success is absolutely transformative on both ends. And the love that's changed and received like through that process is so special and so different, Right.
And having someone, it's like, I play sports. And so in sports, like we always talk about, we give our coaches a lot of credit. And I think that's very justifiable and adequate. But also there's those, like I found a lot of mentors and some of the players that I played with. And I would always look at the people who were better than me. And I just looked at how they didn't even have to say anything.
They don't even know they're being mentors.
Right. You just look at their behavior and you're just like, oh, this guy, he comes to practice early, right? He stays at practice late. And so those people, I would always look to leaders. If you were great at something, then I was going to emulate it, right? No matter what the field, industry, sport, I was like, okay, I'm going to do that, right? And to this day, something I heard one of the guys say when I was playing, he said, Marcus, I don't care about the result. I don't care if we win games or lose games as much as other people. What I care about is how hard did we play, right? Mm-hmm. How hard did we work? And so for me, that has led, I believe, to a lot of success that I've had in business, whether it been for-profit, nonprofit, entrepreneurial stuff that I do in real estate, it was always like, because of that influence, because of that, I was just like, I will always be able to outwork anybody, like no matter what it is, whether it's working out, whether it's playing a sport, whether it's in business, competing with other nonprofits, right? Like we're going to make our name bigger than everybody else, right? And that's led to a lot of success for me.
So Marcus, we're gonna come back in a second, but that it makes me think of something that my mentor once said to me. He watched me grind, watched me do my thing, and he just wrote, "Josh, remember, always stay hungry." We got more with Marcus Allen coming up right after this.